Hello and welcome back to my channel. We are going to do some junk journaling today, and we're going to do kind of like what would be an insert for your junk journal. And so I have these bingo cards and I couldn't decide. I knew I wanted to use this cabinet card. It's a CDV card, which is a smaller size of a cabinet card. And I wanted to add her, but I didn't know which bingo card I wanted to add her to. Originally I thought the orange one. And I was going to go with that, and then I changed my mind. So, I'm going to bust out these Tombow markers. I have a whole rainbow of them. This is 925 orange, and I'm also I had an idea to try, kind of ombreing the color down, and it kind of worked. You'll see here in a minute. So I took the darkest of the oranges that I had and did the top row, and then I took this 933 Tombow and did the next two rows, and it's obviously, as you can see, a lighter orange color. And I thought that if I took the clear marker, which is basically just a Tombow blending marker, that it would kind of carry the color down the rest of the card to kind of give an ombre effect. Well, as you can see, it's doing practically nothing. So I was like, okay, let's try plan B. So I put the tip of one of the orange markers to the blending marker, which it'll pick up the color. And then it transferred a little bit. It still wasn't great. So, it is what it is. So, this is part of when you're journaling or, doing any craft, if something doesn't come out the way you expected it to, you just kind of gotta go with the flow and, move on and try to salvage it. And sometimes it can't be salvaged. I then realized I was blending so much that I was starting to tear up the bingo card. And, so I stopped. So my then next move was to bust out some distressing inks. So I love the Tim Holtz distress inks. So this is vintage photo. And so I'm going to just take this distressing ink with the sponge pad and apply that all over. So now I'm going to apply the CDV picture. So this is art glitter, and contrary to what the name is, it's anything but glitter. It's just a really great paper glue for kind of heavier duty, and it does really well with old paper. So I use this a lot in my junk journaling. So I'm just putting it on the back of this card, and this card is from the 1800s. It's an old card. Based on how she's dressed. But anyways, I'm placing this down on the center, or it's just below center, on the bingo card. And I'm pushing it down around all the edges, and then you kind of want to wipe away. It does dry clear. I just like to get any excess. And then we're going to turn her into a witch. So I just have this black piece of paper. It's actually a black envelope that I had. I tend to save lots of scraps and stuff like that because you just never know when you're going to need a little piece of something for your journaling. So I kind of eyeballed about the size of hat, and I cut a little bigger than what I drew because you can always cut down, but you can't add back, and I didn't want to have to cut 5 different hats to get the right proportion. So I tend to cut bigger and then trim it as needed. So I'm cutting the brim here of the hat, and I'm just playing around with it, and I realize it's way off proportion. So I cut off a little sliver more, and that seems to do about right. But then I've got to, you trim one, you got to trim the other. And we're going to glue these down. And for this, I'm not going to use the art glitter glue. I'm just going to use good old Elmer's glue stick, because it's just regular paper. It doesn't need anything crazy adhesive here. So next I'm going to use this vintage pumpkin seal. I thought it was a die cut at first, or like a fussy cut, but it's actually a seal. Like you could lick the back of it and stick it on something. I'm not going to lick 40 plus, 50 plus year old glue. So I'm going to do some Elmer's glue, and, you know, don't want to end up like George Costanza's fiance. If you're a Seinfeld fan, you know. So I only did the bottom half of the pumpkin because I originally thought I was going to kind of use it as a pocket and possibly stick something behind it. But I ended up going a different route anyway, so I ended up gluing the whole thing down. And I also, because I couldn't find anything I liked to stick in there that wasn't going to be really bulky. And if you're a fan, please like and subscribe so you don't miss any upcoming videos. So now I've busted out these stamps. These are those clear, like silicone stamps. And I'm just trying to figure out what I want to do, but I know I'm going to layer this up with stamps. And use different color stamps to kind of give a little bit of depth and just kind of layer of coloring without being too overbearing, because I want this to look worn and subtle. So I have this like brown gold color and this emerald green, so I'm gonna layer them up, and this is obviously optional, or whatever makes your heart beat and gets you excited. So I am layering it up. So first I go down with the gold, and if you like that, then leave it, move on, go to the next thing, whatever you want. And then I'm gonna go through with green, and I'm gonna go back over, and I kind of slightly, like very minimally shift it so it's not directly imprinting right over the gold, so that you can see the gold come through. And then my black ink pad is just dead. It's totally dry. So I took a Tombow marker. So again, you don't have to have, this just shows you don't have to have ink pads. You can use markers to just color on the stamps, and it'll do just fine. So this one I shifted a little bit more down so you can see the green and the gold peek through, and I really liked how this turned out, this little foliage here at the bottom of the pumpkin. And then I do take another longer piece, and this one here, because I kind of wanted to look like, you know, when you have like dried flowers hanging down. So I went and applied this, and then I also didn't re-ink it after the first stamp. I didn't re-ink it. I just went, and whatever was left on the stamp, I gave it a few more stamps elsewhere on the card just to add some more flair and floral decor around the picture. All right, so now I'm going to define the hat. I have this gold marker. It's like a gel. It is a gel pen. I couldn't tell you where I got this for the life of me. I'm pretty sure it came as a freebie with something I bought at some point, some craft journaling thing. I think it came with a notebook maybe that I got a long time ago. Anyways, it's my go-to little gold pen to add accents, gold accents to a lot of my ephemera. And I don't know what I'm going to do when this thing runs out, because I love it so much, and I just hope that I can find something comparable when it runs out. So I added just some little lines and outlined the hat, and you can see now it looks much more like a hat sitting on her head instead of just some construction paper sitting over her picture, at least. And then I went ahead and outlined and gave some highlights to the pumpkin and the folds of her dress, and just kind of wherever I thought it needed a pop of gold. Okay, so I have this wheel with different size circles and such. So I'm using the 5/8, and I'm going to just take a Sharpie marker, and we're going to do a little 31 here for Halloween. So I just trace out that size. I almost was going to color it in and then write it in gold, but I didn't, obviously. So, but I did accent it with gold, and I really like how this came out. I try not to get too heavy-handed with the gold accents. I wanted to do like gold dots around the circle too, and I was like, oh, just sometimes less is more, because I can get a little carried away with my collages. But it's just because I have so much fun doing them. And the last little part to this is I'm going to take a hole punch, and I'm going to add a little facet. These are also Tim Holtz little brass or copper, I guess they're brass. They're kind of antiqued brass, I guess you could say. Just a little piece of hardware to add to give it a little more oomph. And then you could also hang it this way if you wanted to. I have added ribbon to these as well. And this is how I styled it. I love putting these also in a flower frog. They make great little inserts for your decor. And this card will be up in my Etsy shop. So if you want to snag this card, it will be available to purchase. And I look forward to making more of these. Let me know in the comments if you want to see more of these. I really enjoy making these. I'll see you in the next one.